Well, it's never easy in this league, and like we told our team, we'll always celebrate victories, but also there's a lot to take from that game in terms of what we need to improve upon. I think really in all three phases, uh, there's definitely room for improvement, but you got to give Baltimore a ton of credit. I think a lot of teams may have folded when you're down 14 points. You just go for it in your own territory, and their defense came up big, stopping us, holding us to a field goal to keep it a two-possession game, and their offense battled back and scored, and um, certainly we didn't end the game offensively the way we'd like to with that 3-and-out, and then they were able to score again, but ultimately our defense made the play when they had to make it, and um, we're certainly happy about winning the North again, but also understand that there's three very tough games in front of us, and we're going to have to continue to work each and every day to continue to improve. We'll take it one day at a time, one game at a time, in order for us to get to where we want to go.
I see you're not wearing your NFC North shirt. Is that a signal to your team that that's not enough at the regional?
Well, that is always the first goal, is you have to win your division. That guarantees you a home playoff game, and it really gets you in the dance, and that's ultimately what you'd like to do. But I think it's fair to say that the ultimate goal is everybody has the same ultimate goal, and that's to be the last team standing at the end of the year. And until we do that, I don't think we'll be satisfied. But at the same time, I love this team. I love this group. Just how they battle, how connected they are as a group, and this team's faced a lot of adversity over the course of the year, and we. No, not quite, but we just continue to find a way, and they're a resilient bunch, and it's great to see each and every game. It seems like there's somebody else that steps up and makes a play, like Tyler Davis tonight, making a big catch. So, there's a lot to love about this team, but we also know that there's a lot to work on, a lot to improve upon. Certainly the special teams, isn't up to the standard, and we got to keep continuing to find ways to improve. We got to coach it better. We got to execute better. And, but that goes for offense and defense as well.
Huge chunk plays to MVS tonight. Was some of that just how they were covering Devontae, or what worked with him and Rogers tonight?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was predicated on some of the coverages that we were seeing at Tay. There was a lot of double coverage on him, and he still, in some of those instances, was still able to separate and find ways to get open. That 3rd and 6 that he caught, they had a double team on him. Tay was able to capture the leverage and get outside, but I thought MVS did an outstanding job. It was really encouraging to see him run through the ball, being strong with those aggressive hands, and then finishing the plays. So we need that from him. He is an explosive player. He's a guy that has elite speed. He can really make some of those big explosive plays, and we're going to need more from him, and he's got to build upon this game.
You guys were really good at keeping Murray and Fields in the pocket. What happened with the rush lanes tonight?
Yeah, I got to go back and look at it, but certainly we were not good enough. Huntley was able to get outside and create a lot of off-schedule plays and move the sticks with his legs. What do you have, 2 rushing touchdowns? Yeah, that wasn't good enough. I do think, certainly anytime you lose a guy like Kenny, I think that has an impact. But ultimately, it comes down to doing your responsibility, and guys gotta own that, and we've got to coach it better, and we've got to execute better.
You look at the last 4 weeks, the scores are 34-31, 36-28, 45-30, and 31-30. Do you think that's a harbinger of things to come? And do you think that's going to be the way this team has to win in the playoffs?
I sure hope not. I mean, we'd like to hold teams to less points. I think our defense has shown what they're capable of doing. I think we've got to be better situationally. Anytime on 3rd down, they're over 50%, that's not going to get it done typically. So it's really the situational football. We've got to really make sure that we're on point. And you're talking about third down, you're talking about your 2-minute situations, you're talking about the red zone. So I think there's a lot to improve upon in those areas.
The flip side of that is you've scored. I mean, the offensive numbers are good during that stretch, and yet, in talking to your guys, it seems like you think there's more out there. I mean, would you agree with that? That this offense isn't quite where you want it to be yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every time you don't score on a drive, there's room for improvement. And to start the game with the 3 and out was a little disappointing. Certainly, I think the other drive we didn't score on in the first half was we got sacked in a 2-minute situation. We were supposed to have a chip on that right side, on our right side, and that didn't happen. I got to look at the tape and see why that didn't happen. And then, in the second half, we had an opportunity right there at the end of the game when our defense held Baltimore. We hit Mercedes on an explosive play that got us into the low red inside the 10-yard line, and then we went backwards on second down, and then we just missed the play on third down there that could have made it a 3-possession game and kind of put the game more out of reach. But and then certainly at the end of the game, going 3 and out, that it doesn't sit well, I don't think, with any of us.
Now, you've talked about the resilience of this football team on many occasions. A lot of the key players have won a lot of football games, too, though, in their career. How much value do you think there is in these adversity situations and finding a way to win this?
I think that's what this game's all about, is just finding ways to win. And, anytime you can consistently do that, I think it builds up that resiliency. It just builds up that mentality that, hey, no matter what happens, we're going to find a way. And I think our guys truly believe that. And we'll continue to, hopefully that holds true.
When Aaron is on the brink of franchise history, when he was tonight, I'm just curious, how aware are you of that in those moments?
Oh, I think you're always kind of aware of what's going on, and but certainly you're still trying to find ways to win the game, and you're making calls that you think are the best to help provide you to the best opportunity to win the game. And so it doesn't impact us in terms of our play calls, but because those calls were going to be dialed up anyways, and it just at the end of it, when we were in position, it just didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
If you were in that situation at the end of the game, would you have made the same decision on the 2-point conversion?
If I were on that sideline, absolutely. I absolutely would have. And, that's what I anticipated. That's what we anticipated as a coaching staff, that they were going to go for 2 if they were to score. I mean, we talked about it prior to them scoring, and sure enough, they did it. I thought there for a second when they took the timeout that maybe they were trying to burn our last timeout, so we had no timeouts if they were to kick it. I thought they might run their PAT field goal unit on the field, but they didn't. And thankfully our defense found a key stop right there. I think Savage got a piece of that ball at the in that corner of the end zone, and he made a great play.
More, please. How do you balance the need to use timeouts on offense earlier in the second half to try to score and go up 3 scores versus wanting them at the end in case you really need them?
Yeah, at the time I didn't think it was as big of a deal, but obviously that was on the forefront of my mind as things got a little tight there at the end. Just kicking myself for burning those timeouts, and all you can do is learn from it and try not to put yourself in that situation again.
I saw a lot of different guys back for returns tonight. Was it just seeing who worked?
It was more or less situations of guys getting dinged up, and I know Amari got dinged, and then he was able to go back in. We put Malik back there on kickoff return. He got dinged up, and so it just at the one where Aaron Jones returned, we threw our hands team out there with 4 minutes left, or 4 and some change, when it was a 1-possession game. That's just part of that unit. So it was more or less because of guys getting nicked up.
Can Horowitz kick off if you guys tried him at that?
He is not a combo guy. Like you know who the combo guys are out there, but he's not done that.